Thanks so much for downloading the episode. On the show today, we talk a little bit about sending nude selfies. We also have a big segment in Paula's world with a big pregnancy scare. That, plus your H-Uglee and Awkward Moments of the week, and they were epic. Enjoy the show.
It's another uncensored look at the world around you, from sisters who will say just about anything to anyone at any time. It's the Uggs. Jamie?
Just take advantage of me, please.
Paula?
So I had to explain to her what a cock was.
Uncensored as always, it's time for the ugly truth.
Welcome to the Ugly Truth. We are at episode 280. Welcome. We're back, as we said on Sunday. Here's our another show. What is that? What's happening?
Here's our
another show. Here's our other show.
Here's our Wednesday show.
Yes, I'm Jamie, and this is Paula, my sister. And thank you for downloading the show. Thanks for listening. Thanks for sharing. I did not talk about it, and I haven't made a big deal about it yet because I haven't really gotten into it. But the Ugly Truth podcast does have an Instagram. And it is where you will find any new products that we're excited about from Amazon or Avon. Plus, pictures of who's Producer Dub, who's the killer skunk, stuff like that. All that kind of stuff will be on our Ugly Truth Instagram. And you can find it. Just look for Ugly Truth Podcast, and you'll find it that quickly. We're getting a lot of followers just by nature of if you follow the show or whatever, or you're friends with us on other social media, you'll see it. So continue with that. We appreciate the follows anyway. Plus, it's a little bit easier to see products that we talk about in pictures, and usually there's a link of some kind to get to that product. So I just wanted to let everybody know about the Instagram thing. Okay, so speaking of social media, the other day I was on Twitter, because you know how much I love Twitter. Mm-hmm. And this person posted, she said, I actually hurt my own feelings because she had come up with conjured up a backstory for herself. And I do this all the time. I don't know about you, but I do create backstories for myself even.
It depends.
Okay, well, let me tell you what she said. And I'm paraphrasing, obviously. She said, the other night I was thinking about when people ask you for nudes, like on Tinder or when you're chatting, when you're doing a hookup. I've never done it, but I assume that at some point someone asked for a naked picture of you.
I've had someone ask, yeah.
Did you send it?
I did, but I didn't show my face.
Oh, phew, good. And luckily, I don't think you have any tattoos that can be shown, that can be seen.
No, I don't.
Well, good. Anyway, so she said, I imagine someone I'm flirting with says, send me nudes, and I send a nude, and the response is, thank you. And she's like, and that's it. And then there's no more contact. And she's like, and I started filing through how that would make you feel is if you sent someone a picture of your nakedness and their response is, thank you, and then you never hear from them again.
What's that stuff?
And she's like, I hurt my own feelings. And then I started thinking about it going, first of all, I've never sent a nude photo. I am way too old and wise to know that shit never goes away. And now I have done some things that are out there that I'm embarrassed about, because if they were ever seen, I would die, like video. But other than that, I think because I did that and I know that it's out there because this person just refuses to destroy it, there's no way to know if that will ever come back to haunt me. So I think taking nude selfies is like, no, I've learned my lesson. I'm not doing this again. I'm not doing it twice. I get it. Those things never go away. They get lorded over your head for the rest of your life. But if I was inclined to send a photo and I got that kind of response, I would really have to start thinking about my health and my lifestyle. That would just be awful.
So you wouldn't even send it like if your picture or if your face wasn't in the picture?
No, I really wouldn't. I mean, I know Daryl lost his privileges to my nude selfies.
I remember that.
You were there. You were there when that went down.
Yeah.
You and I were in Reno partying, and I had sent a sexually charged photo with my ass hanging out and no bra on, and a thin, like a tissue shirt on that you could pretty much see through. And I had sent him that photo, and he used that as my contact photo. So when a friend asked for my number, he sent the contact via iPhone to them, and she contacts me and says, hey, I needed to ask you whatever. And she goes, P.S., sexy photo. And I go, what are you talking about? And I look, and well, you were there.
Yeah.
You saw what happened. And Daryl, of course, can't apologize enough. And I said, no more nudies for you. I will never send you a nudie ever again. I'm sorry. Please don't do this to me. God, I was so heated. I said, Josh sees my ass now every time he sees me. You realize that every time these people see me, they think about that picture. And she's like, no.
Because I wonder if they can delete it or if they...
Paula, I don't know.
You don't want to think about it?
No, it's embarrassing. I just don't, I mean, and look, it's not like I had my legs spread or anything, but it's still,
it was very tasteful, but
it was a tasteful nude. Yeah, I'm a little gun shy. And of course, Daryl's like, can you just show me a nip? Just a little, No, nothing for you ever again.
Never again.
But yes, so I read that and I laughed because I've hurt my own feelings as well. Thinking of backstories. So speaking of craziness, Wednesdays are slotted for Paula's world. And it seems that a lot has been going on in your world since we last discussed it. So I'm very much looking forward to hearing about your son, who is now graduating to the place where bad teachers go to die, middle school.
Yes.
He is on his way.
Yeah. So like I mentioned on Sunday, my kids are out of school right now.
Yes.
That just happened. The Friday before Memorial Day was my son's promotion ceremony, quote unquote.
Yes.
They had been practicing all week because it was supposed to happen in the quad. And there would have been chairs outside, everybody could have, come, brought family, all this stuff. And lo and behold, by Wednesday, the news was reporting that there was supposed to be thunderstorms coming in on Thursday night, Friday morning.
Okay.
The cafeteria, or not the cafeteria, I should say, the multi-purpose room can't hold that many people.
Oh, that's true.
And so they're just like, we're just going to wait and see how it goes. We'll keep practicing. We'll keep planning that it'll be outside. Right now, it's only a 30% chance of rain. So come Thursday afternoon, it was a 50% chance of rain. It was getting cloudy, all that stuff. And so they said, what we're going to do is we're going to have it in the multi-purpose room. We're going to split the students in half.
Yeah.
A through M will go first at 8:30, and then, N through Z will go at 9:30. It just kind of sucked because all his friends, like a lot of his friends, they have like last names like, that start with B or D or,
yes.
So he wanted to graduate with his friends. And what was funny is the day before they had gone to the water park Sunsplash.
Yeah.
And so when they were all graduating, you had just a bunch of like strawberry red students going up there to graduate because they all said they put sunscreen on in the morning.
They never do.
Well, they put the sunscreen on, but they were there for 8 hours.
Oh, they put it on they put it on once, and it's good for 30 minutes, and then that's it.
So they were all like bright red. And like Ryan literally had almost like 2nd-degree burns on his shoulders. And so
that's not funny, but it is.
No, well, it is because I remember doing that when we were young. In fact, I remember us being in the backyard and spraying ourselves with cooking oil.
Oh, Paula, please. Are you kidding? Baby oil, olive oil, cooking oil?
I'm surprised we didn't rub Crisco on ourselves.
We probably would if we had run out of the liquid.
So he was a little disappointed that he didn't get to graduate with his friends.
Yeah.
So when we got in there, we had decent seats, and So he got his little diploma and said that, he was going to the 7th grade. And I didn't get weepy. I was surprised. I had been weepy all week.
What, because of the transition out of elementary school?
Yeah.
Or just in general?
They don't run around like little kids anymore when they're in 7th and 8th grade.
No.
And so I was kind of sad because him and his friends, they like to still play basketball and hang out and do all that stuff. And I'm like, I hope they still do that when they're in 7th and 8th grade, but I don't know if they will.
Yeah, it's different.
Maybe they'll meet at the park still and do it.
Yeah.
But, so I had just been weepy all week because, I'm just like, I can't believe he's so big and tall and,
I know,
so grown up. And, they say that, when you have kids that they just grow up so fast. And, when they're babies and colicky and, having digestive problems and all that stuff, you keep thinking like, oh, I can't wait to get past this part,
Yeah.
And then the next thing you know, they're going to be 13 and they're like, 5, 6. And
it goes very quickly.
So anyways, but after that, we went to breakfast and we got him a card, put some money in there because he's trying to save some money. He wants to buy an Xbox One.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so bring on my weepiness.
Yes.
We had to write a check for something. I can't remember what it was. And I asked Victor, I'm like, what's the date? And he's like, oh, it's the 27th. And so I wrote the 27th. I'm like, the 27th? I'm like, that doesn't make any sense. And he's like, why? I'm like, because I'm supposed to get my period on the 21st or the 22nd.
No, Paula.
And he's like, so how late are you? And I'm like, that's like 5 days. And so I'm just like, that's really weird.
It's terrifying.
And I was thinking to myself, I'm like, I don't feel pregnant. Like, when you were first pregnant with each of your kids, there was just something that was off, like you had a behavior or a craving or something, you just didn't feel normal.
Yeah,
I guess.
Yeah, yes. For me, I could not sleep enough, and then the vomiting, that usually was a key.
But the early pregnancy.
Yeah, no, I was exhausted. I literally could not sleep enough, and I thought I was getting the flu. And then I go, and then you always get that weird clammy feeling. I always got a weird clammy feeling, and I'm like, oh my God, this is pregnancy.
Well, with Ryan, I couldn't stop eating hot and sour soup. Like,
right.
I couldn't get enough salt for some reason. And then with Olivia, because we were trying to get pregnant, we were checking every month. But I remember going down a set of stairs and my boobs were really sore.
Oh,
all
yeah.
of a sudden. And so, but this time I was just like, no, but nothing's happened. I'm like, I've been really weepy because of all the stuff that's going on with Ryan.
Right.
And I said, so other than that, I'm like, everything feels fine. I said, but I don't feel like I'm going to start my period either.
Paula, did the color literally leave his face? There is just no way.
He's just like, well, and I said, maybe I should take a test. And he's like, well, you should do whatever makes you feel better,
What does that mean?
Well, like, we can wait it out and
we can live in denial for another month.
Because the last thing is that when I've had like extraordinarily stressful months,
yes.
I have skipped a period.
Yes, that's absolutely true. Yes.
And for us, May was a very stressful month. We had so much going on.
Yes. So maybe you just
behind the scenes.
So maybe it was just that.
Right. So we were at the store, and what's hard is now that your kids are older, you have to like buy it, but like hide it because you don't want your kids to freak out. So we like hid it under like, Olivia bought a new bathing suit, so I hid it under her bathing suit, and then we sent him to go look at the red box when we were checking out.
Why don't you just run out and buy it and pee in the store bathroom like a normal person?
Because I don't want to do that.
God, I would. I'd be like, I'll be back. Run to Target and pee on a stick and cry or celebrate. I don't know.
When we got home, I had to pee, which was another thing because I'm like, God, I've been peeing so much lately. But
no.
So I peed on the stick.
Please don't tell me this is ending in an impending birth. I will absolutely vomit.
No. So I peed on the stick. I looked at the lines. There was no plus sign. So all is clear.
God. Did you start your period?
No, I still haven't started, but
well,
I don't know what's going on with that, but I'm definitely not pregnant.
Okay.
So.
Well, look, I mean, babies are not bad news, but
No, they're not.
We just can't fathom another one now. And I don't know why I'm talking like a robot. I'm just trying to choose my words wisely.
I don't. My oldest is almost 13. My second oldest is almost 9. What would I do with a newborn? I mean, I'm almost 40. It's ridiculous.
Isn't it funny how there's just a small window of time where it's a joyous occasion, but if you're super duper young or just on the cusp of a scary age, people go, oh no. Like, there's no in between. Like, there's a time period, there's like a good 10 years, it's where it's like, oh, this is wonderful news. We've been trying, da 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 da. And then it's like, if you're under 22 or over 40, it's like, holy shit, really?
I don't know if this ever happened to you, but when I got pregnant with Ryan, Victor and I weren't married.
Right.
And so people said, like, well, are you going to keep it? Are you going to put it up for adoption?
Oh, my God.
Are you guys going to get married? And I'm just like, okay. I'm like, so this is what people think when you have a baby when you're not married.
Yes.
And it's not like I was super young either. I was like 26.
Yeah, it's funny how as progressive as everybody thinks society is, get an unwed mother and you'll know exactly where we are. It's not that it hasn't changed all that much. It really hasn't. It's always like, well, what are you going to do? What's your plan? What's happening? Where are we going? Do you need a ride?
Yeah,
or,
right.
What are we doing? Are we planning anything? It's definitely, and then it's like, who's the father? Is he going to be involved? It's the same shit that they've been saying. The only thing that's different now versus back in the 50s and 60s is they don't send you off to a farm to have the baby.
Right. So people don't have to look at you.
So they don't have to look at your slutty whorishness, and then the men just get to walk around with their heart on like, what? I don't know. It's like his dick is still wet and she's being sent off to a farm. Awesome.
I know. And then when I got pregnant with Olivia, everyone was just elated. And I'm just like,
'cause you're married.
I'm like, you're literally talking like 3 years difference.
Yes.
This is bizarre.
But now that you have the officiant, pronouncing you man and wife, it's different.
But I haven't had one of those, a pregnancy scare in years.
I had, just to tie it into my understanding of pregnancy scare, Daryl had things handled after we had our last baby. Although I go through phases of regret of not trying for another one, I'm very grateful that we're good and that we were done at the time. I think the Malia was 6 or 7 weeks old and he had his appointment done. Now, the thing with vasectomies is there's no guarantee that they're done. You have to go back and give them a sample to ensure that there are no sperm in the secretion. Mm-hmm. So most people don't go back. They just don't. I thought we did, maybe, but knowing Daryl, he probably never went back. And so I would say Malia might have been 1 or 2 years old. She was a little still. And I had a raging urine infection. And so I had gone to my doctor and he gave me everything. And he called and he said, hey, when we were doing your check under the microscope, we found sperm in your urine. Is there any chance you could be pregnant? And I'm like, no. I'm like, absolutely not. So I called Daryl and I said, we have a problem. He's like, what? I go, I have to go back and get a pregnancy test. He's like, how is this even? What? I go, there were dead sperm in my sample. And we had, obviously we're married. We. Mm-hmm. And so then he had to go back and do a thing. He had to go back and check. And they said, well, they're dead, but yeah. There could have been an opportunity at any time during that year that I could have been pregnant.
Wow.
gotten pregnant. Luckily, no, it didn't happen. But that really will that will click you into a whole new reality when you think about those close calls.
Yeah, seriously.
You really decide, you're like, did we really, what would we have done? Horrifying. So yeah, I do know the close call feeling, and I do not like it. It is a bad feeling. Well, especially when you don't want one, when you're not ready or you're not planning it, that is not a good feeling.
Yeah, well, and I think, I don't know, I could be wrong, but most women, I think a part of them wants to see it go positive. I mean, I could be wrong, but...
You know what? I don't think you're wrong because, like I said, at least as far as I'm concerned, babies are not bad news. There's no such thing as an accident. I mean, I know people say that, accidents. I don't consider babies an accident. I think they're surprises, and they do change. Yeah. They change your life. I mean, Brigitte Nelson she's in her 50s and she's pregnant.
I don't really know how that happened.
Well, I mean, because women can have, until you hit menopause, you can have children. I mean, if you're, haven't had any female removals, you can have a baby. And what I think when I hear things like that, like we talked about Rachel Weisz, who I think she's 48 and she's pregnant. And I think, wow, science has really come a long way, because not only can you find methods outside of the traditional method to get pregnant, there's a high probability that these babies will be completely healthy and there will be no problems.
Yeah.
But the only thing that I always think of, it's never the age as far as the babies, being healthy or not having compromised, health problems, is if you have a baby that late in life, think about when they're in their 20s and you're 70 something.
Yeah.
What if you get sick and die? I just worry about people having babies at such an advanced age, not thinking about when these kids are 14, 15 and you're 70. That's, to me, is scary.
Yeah, it does seem a little, not selfish, but...
Well, it is, to me, it feels a little selfish, because you're just going, you're not thinking, I mean, I am sure that people do think that far ahead, but, being in your 50s and having a baby, just, you're clearly never going to see that baby become an adult and marry and have children. I mean, there's no way.
Yeah, probably not.
So it just makes me sad a little bit for the kids that will have that. But I do agree that most women do go for just a inkling of a moment going, oh, it's not negative, it's not positive. All right, moving on.
Yeah, in fact, I was in the bathroom and Victor obviously was concerned about it, because I was in the bathroom looking at the stick, and then he's like, we good? Through the door. And I'm like, we're good.
God, Paula.
He's so funny.
I want to say congratulations on your lack of pregnancy.
Thank you.
I mean, I assume, but I'm with you. I know what it's like to take the test and go, oh, negative. All right. I mean, you hate to admit it because the timing would be really bad, or, whatever. But you're right.
It's definitely good news. I mean,
yes.
It's because, at this point, so much life would have to change. And God, it would just be...
It makes me tired just thinking about it.
It's exhausting. And I'm like, it's exhausting just to think about it.
I have dreams about babies all the time. I have baby on the brain. And I've tried to, theorize why. And I think it's because all of my babies are not babies. They're all basically adults age. And that part of my life is over. And it's depressing as hell, because... it's such a great time period, and now looking back, that's the easy time. Changing their diapers and teaching them how to walk and talk and eat is so easy compared to teaching them to be a decent human being with a good moral code and how to treat others and have a drive to succeed, or, all the hard stuff that makes them a decent human. That's harder than teaching them how to wipe their butt and not pick their nose. That's easy.
I know. Having babies is fun.
Well, it is, in the sense that the hard work gets to be when they're around 8, when you're trying to teach them how to be a decent person, on this
Right.
planet. And then how that's going to go, that's the hard part. That part makes me sad. And I was telling Daryl this just the other day. I said, you know, what's really good though is that I literally have no regrets. Like, I love those babies more than anything. I couldn't have loved them more. Even if I'm trying to self-punish myself, like I didn't do enough, I did do enough. And that part I know. So that's always great. And so it makes me want to do it again. So I can do it again and prove to myself that I was a good mom. But, you know, we were good moms. We are good moms,
Yeah.
you know, I think. I mean, you know.
I can't care more than I'm caring right now.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
and loving right now. And so, you know, if someone said, you know, if you had to do it again, I mean, obviously there was things I would do differently.
Well, I
but-
definitely do. I mean, we all make mistakes, but
Right.
but my heart was never not in it 110% with every single kid. And so when you think about that, you're like, yeah, I could do it again. But life would be, like you said, very different. Daryl and I have talked about adopting. Like, I mean, I really, really want to do it again, but instead I think I'm just going to get a kitten.
You're going to have grandchildren in like 5 years.
Oh
I
my
know
God, Paula. I told Kenzie that the other day. She was at our house and I said, no rush on the kids. I'm not like dying for someone to procreate so I can hold a baby. But I was like very vigilant about like, I don't want you moving across the country. I want to be there. I don't want to be the mom that, you know, I don't want to be the grandma that they don't want to see. I don't want to be the grandma that they only see from, you know, hear from once a year. I want to be involved as much as you'll let me. Like, please let me be involved in it because you can learn so much from me.
Yeah.
Like, just take advantage of me, please. We want to be the grandparents that you dump them off for the summer. You know, we want to have that kind of relationship. But I think it's really me. Like, I'm super selfish. I'm like, just give me the baby, you know?
Yeah, I know. I'm the same way. I'm already talking to my kids about grandchildren.
What?
No, I just say, well, when you're older, just make sure that, you know, I'm allowed to come over and like have a guest bedroom so I can stay and like help you guys.
Yeah.
And-
It's like, I promise I won't smell like old people. You know, I won't have a mean dog. You know,
and we tell them like, you always have a babysitter.
yeah,
and-
I'll have the cool toys, and you know, Daryl is going to be the coolest grandpa ever because he's going to have all the cool video games, and you know,
Yeah.
all that. And I go, we'll have puppies and kittens and all the food that your mom doesn't let you eat. You know, we're going to be like Disneyland for you. I was telling Kenzie, I said it was so funny when you came to visit a couple weeks ago. And your kids, I go, Ryan, who is basically a teenager, threw a mini temper tantrum. He did not want to leave our house.
I know.
And I said, that's how I want it to be. I want your kids screaming in their car seat crying because they have to leave. That's what I want.
Aw.
That's what I want. And then they fall asleep, you know, on halfway out the driveway.
Yeah.
That's the kind of relationship I want with grandkids. And until then, you know, I'll just enjoy my children. I love our kids so much. I love yours too, of course. Mm-hmm. All of this just reminds me, it's like, I hate being pregnant and I hate delivering those children. But if it wasn't so bad, I would have had 3 more.
3 more.
Well, maybe 1 more. Just 1. Not 3.
I hate being pregnant. I don't mind delivering.
Well, you cough yours out.
I know.
If everyone just coughed and sneezed a baby out, we'd all have several children. But yeah, I hate the whole thing. I really do. And I hate it because I feel vulnerable and I don't like that at all. Sucks.
Yeah, that's probably true.
Mm-hmm.
Mom's always nervous. She convinces me that someone's gonna, try and kidnap me and cut my baby out of my
Oh my
stomach or something.
God.
Like.
Oh,
She's like, that happens, and I'm like, I know, Mom.
speaking of, I talked to our mom the other day. She's so funny. She's like, okay, she's on Instagram now and she followed me.
I thought I saw something from her, but then it like went away. I don't know what happened.
No, she's following us on Instagram finally. She's figuring it out, which is good. I think it's great. It's a great way for her to keep in touch and see what our lives are all about. Mm-hmm. And she said, I followed Mackenzie, the granddaughter. She goes, I followed her, and the first picture is a picture of her friend flipping off the camera. So I unfollowed her because I didn't want my people to see that. And I said, no, Mom, no one can see what you're looking at. Like, no one unless you took a picture of that picture and put it on your Instagram, no one's going to see it. It's fine. I'm like, you could be offended personally, but no one's going to know that you saw that. I go, it's like looking at other people's photo albums, essentially. And
right.
Like, oh, okay.
No one's going to know what you looked at.
Right. And Instagram's great because it's all pictures and, they're funny. So anyway, so she's on Instagram and she goes, how long do you think that people are going to want to listen to your juvenile behavior on this podcast? I started.
How long?
She goes, how long do you think this is going to go on? And I said, wow. I said, well, I beg to differ that it's juvenile. I said, but she is opposed to the profanity. And I said, well, it's not for you. You can't listen to the show, Mom. You can't listen to it. You will hear profanity and then you will not hear anything else.
You can't be a conservative Christian and listen to this show.
No, not really. I mean,
unless it's your guilty pleasure and you just hide it.
Well, that's fine too. But I said, you are too shocked by profanity. And I said, and I find it funny considering that you used to swear like a sailor. And that's what's funny to me about the whole thing is that you are different now, but let's not act like you didn't introduce me to Richard Pryor, okay? Because you did. So, I mean, I get it, but don't act like you don't know where this came from because you do know. But she was also really worried that we were talking crap about her. And I said, no. I go, that's so funny. I go, we actually don't. We would never. First of all, she goes, I would just be really upset if you said bad things about the five of us, And I said, we actually celebrate that. We celebrate the fact that we have a strong, independent woman who raised us to not need men. And it's actually been difficult as we get older because we are still very fiercely independent and we struggle with sharing the duties with a person, whether it's a man or a woman, but for us, it's all men. Because we were raised to not need anybody else. So it's been really difficult. And I mean, not in a bad way, but it's something that we've had to learn to kind of integrate with our independence because you raised us that way. And I said, actually, we're very pro strong woman, I think. I said, the only thing that I think we're different than other people who have a vocal stage is that a lot of women they don't celebrate beauty and appearance as something that is a good thing. Right now, just existing as a woman should be sufficient, even though I don't necessarily agree with that. I think that you have to kind of have yourself together because people are visual. And if you look like a slob, they're going to judge you for that. So put on a little bit of, makeup or at least brush your hair or do something. You can't just exist because you're a woman and that's enough. It isn't. And stop acting like it is, because and I know that's not a very popular opinion, but I don't really care. I wouldn't tell, I wouldn't go out and judge others for it.
It's your personal prerogative.
Yes. And it's an opinion. I don't think women should look like crap when they go out in public, but that's just me. I don't think anybody should actually, not just women. I don't think anyone should go out looking like shit. When you see a man who looks like shit in public, the first thing we do go, well, he's not married.
Yeah.
I mean, it's the first thing you think because you're like, there's no way would a woman let her man go out looking like that. So,
or if he is married, you think that his wife doesn't care about him.
That too. It's like, oh, his shorts are too short. Nobody has purchased clothes for this man at Kohl's in many, many years. It's usually what you think. But anyway, so I had to appease our mom and let her know that we're not talking smack about her. And I said, no, we make fun of our father's infidelity. But other than that, we do not talk crap about our mother, which I thought was hilarious.
I wonder who she talked to that gave her the wrong idea.
She saw one of us shared our podcast episode and she saw the title and I don't even remember what it was, but she kept saying condom. And I'm like, Mom, I can't think of anything that has condom in it. Not that we don't talk about it, but I'm just saying I couldn't think of anything. And I said, no, we talk about sex though. So, I mean, don't listen because you won't like it. You won't like it. But anyway, I thought it was funny. But yes, she was worried, but now she's not. I think I've appeased her enough to let her know that we don't spend our 30 and 40 minutes talking bad about our family. I would never.
It probably was mine because I'm pretty much public about everything.
Maybe. I mean, I don't know. I don't even know if she has Facebook, so I don't know how she would have seen it. But anyway.
Well, you know that she uses her sister's login.
Yeah, she did say something about backdoor. I ignored it because I didn't want to. I didn't want to, go there with her.
I have to correct her. Why does she use the worst words and
I don't know.
I've corrected her on 2 things. It's somebody else's turn.
What did you correct her on?
Get off on it, and what was the other one?
She used to say jack off a lot.
Yeah, she said he gets off on it.
Oh, yes.
And then, when she was trying to, remember from, what's the bridal movie with Martin Short and...
Oh, Father of the Bride?
Father of the Bride. She was trying to imitate Martin Short saying the cack.
She kept saying cock.
She kept saying the cock.
Oh, boy.
And I'm just like, Mom, you have to stop saying that. And she's like, why? I'm like...
Because you're saying...
So I had to explain to her what a cock was.
I don't... You know what? Sometimes I wonder if she just blocks out that she used to know all of that. You know what I mean?
Maybe she didn't know.
Maybe not. I mean, who knows? She was pretty tough woman, though, I will say.
Yeah, tough, definitely. But, as far as her urban language...
her slang is something to be desired. Agreed. Although I say stuff all the time that is completely inappropriate. And people go, no, you can't say that. I'm like, oh, is that something bad? They're like, yes, that's very bad. I'm like, all right, I won't say it again. I won't say it anymore. I promise. All the time. Okay, so speaking of awkward, let us read 2 submitted H-Ugly and Awkward Moments of the week.
Okay.
These are the first 2 submissions that will receive special gifts from us for participating. And they are en route. We thank you so much. If you want to share them when you get them, I would love to see that you got them. That would be great. Okay, so our first submission is Tracy, who is a dear friend of yours, and now through you, mine. Mm-hmm. It's happened to her, and I actually laughed really loud when I read this. So people don't really wave on my new street. They just moved. It's been bugging me. I don't need a best friend, but at least say good morning or wave when you drive or walk by. It's not that hard to be friendly. This morning I was out watering my newly planted landscaping, and this group of 3 neighborhood walkers walked by me, and one yelled, "Good morning, your landscaping is beautiful." And she's like, and I was so thrilled. Finally, a neighbor said words to me. I excitedly smiled and thanked him for noticing me and my pretty plants. Then I tripped over the hose and fell down the stairs.
God.
I'm never going to make friends out here. And I was like, that is so sad, because they went, oh God, she can't even wave and smile at us without falling.
She's one of those.
She's one of those people.
We better not talk to her again.
Yeah, it's like, don't wave at her when she's out watering. We don't want her to break a hip. Jeez.
I don't want to be personally liable for anything that might happen to her.
We might get a letter from the HOA. So don't. Poor thing. Poor Tracy. It's like 2 steps forward and 10 steps back when you're awkward. It's just like never. You're really, actually, speaking of your awkward moment at Olivia's awards assembly.
Yes.
When you were a little too enthusiastic. That's the kind of move that you make. I just wonder, I mean, for me, it would have been like, well, now they know that my kid never gets awards because this is my first one and it's the last of the year. It's like one of those moves where I start thinking about how did she not know not to participate?
Well, I mean, they only give out 9 awards in the year.
I know.
So, I mean, I shouldn't say that, it's shocking or anything like that. But I mean, it's pretty tough to get an award when you're in a class of 24.
Yes.
So that's
not even half.
It's pretty prestigious, and
yes.
to have that happen.
That is true.
I've been to the awards assembly before because she gets these these little necklace tags when they've read so many points worth, and then they make them stand up and say their name and everything like that. So I went to that one before, but I don't remember the male teacher ever doing this little skit about, you know, my favorite student
His little stand-up routine.
Yeah, I think he tricked me. So.
Oh, maybe. Okay, so here's the second one, and then we'll have to decide who wins, because they're both pretty good.
Okay.
Hi, ladies. I have a H-Uglee and Awkward Moment. I was out with my sister and her husband at a Red Lobster for a Saturday late lunch. I had to go to the bathroom, so I left the table. After getting into the stall, someone else came into the bathroom in the stall next to mine, and she threw her purse down on the floor, which you should never do.
No, there's hooks.
Which looked a lot like mine. Anyway, then someone else comes in. I finish up, wash, and leave. When I get back to the table, just my brother-in-law is at the table. The next thing I know, my sister comes out of the bathroom and her face is beet red. Apparently, she had come into the bathroom and saw the purse on the floor and assumed it was me. She briefly... I'm sorry, I'm trying not to laugh. She briefly thought about snatching it because she was in the stall next to this lady. Instead, she finishes, stands outside of the stall, grabs the door, and rattles it as hard as she can. And then goes and is washing up. The stall door opens, and she is shocked to see it's not me. The poor lady comes out and is looking all around like, what the fuck just happened? My sister ran out and we all laughed at the table.
Oh my God, that is so That kind of sounds like something we would do.
Oh my God, beyond. I'm just glad she didn't snatch that lady's purse. Can you imagine?
Or like, you know, put her hand in there and like grab someone's ankle or something.
Oh my God. If she'd be like, I need a tampon, and just reaches into this lady's purse and then immediately realizes this is not your sister's purse. Oh my God.
Oh my God. That one was funny. I think I like that one.
Me too. I'd give that a 20,000 point.
That's a good one.
Oh yeah, that's really good. Oh God, that's so funny. But anyway, thank you, Jen, for sending that in, and I absolutely loved it. So we're sending you a little thank you present. So congratulations.
Yeah, that was funny.
That is funny.
My God. What are the odds? It's the same purse.
God, I think, because I can totally see us doing it, and I think that's when I read things like that. It's like, see, sisters are we're pretty much the same.
That is funny. I can just picture us like trying to talk to someone and be like, God, Stephanie, why'd you put your purse on the floor? Stephanie, why aren't you talking to me?
Hello? I'm not Stephanie.
Oh, never mind.
I know. God, that's hilarious. You win, Jen, or your sister does anyway. She's awkward.
That is funny.
God. Well, I think that's it.
Yep, I think that's a wrap for this Wednesday.
Yes, hopefully we'll get back in the groove. I feel like we're a little off.
We are.
But whatever.
We're a little
rusty.
Weak in the knees.
We're a little rusty. But the first week back, we'll be back on the bike next week.
Yes. We'll hop on that hobby horse, whatever that means. I don't know what that means.
And going nowhere. Just rocking back and forth.
So thank you, everybody, for joining us. Please visit our Avon link or just go to lipandclip.com and that'll take you directly to our site and pick up some goodies. Father's Day is coming up, so you might want to peruse Amazon and see if you can get Dad something great. Amazon is good for things such as tools, wallets, belts, shirts, typical Dad stuff. In fact, I think they're probably getting ready to have their Dad section pop up so you can see what Amazon suggests that we get Dads. So other than that, have a fabulous week and we will see you on Sunday. Bye. Bye.
Thanks for listening and sharing the show. See you next time on The Ugly Truth.